Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, Capital Markets Analyst and host of your Cannabis Business Podcast. Today we've got Marvin Washington on the show. Marvin's a retired NFL player. He played a total of 11 years with 3 teams, the New York Jets, where he won a Super Bowl. Marvin's been a huge advocate in the NFL for concussions, CTE or chronic traumatic encephalopathy. He's an advocate for CBD. He speaks out on the topics of cannabinoids and neuroprotectants, co-founder of Isidal Performance, and also the ambassador for Athletes for Care, and is a member of the board of directors. Marvin, thanks for being back on the podcast.
No, thanks for having me. I definitely enjoyed coming on with you last time.
So today we're going to dive into the collective bargaining agreement for the NFL. I want to talk about that. Marvin, did you have a chance to read that? Like, what's your take?
I think it's progress. You know, as the NFL has said, they're not like other leagues, and they're the biggest ship in the ocean out there. So when they start to turn, you know, it takes a while, but they'll bring a lot of other leagues and groups, sports groups along in their, you know, in their current, in their ways. So I'm happy about it. You know, I wish they would have just taken it off completely, but I think, you know, this is something that if you would have asked me 4 or 5 years ago, would I have been happy with this? Yeah. So I'm happy. It's progress.
So there's been some controversy, at least online a little bit. So some of the players, current players, went to Twitter. So you've got J.J. Watt, who said hard no on the collective bargaining agreement, or CBA. And then Richard Sherman with the 49ers, he had also forwarded another tweet and was against it. And so is this the final version of the CBA, or the collective bargaining agreement?
You know, the NFL has it's 2 partners. It's the owners and it's the union. So the owners have given their go-ahead and said that they're fine with this. They've already ratified it, and they're fine with this being the final CBA. But the player representative, the 32-player representative, has the body of the 17 players taking a look at this agreement, and the players that have seen it, they are saying some hard no's in there. It can go from health and pensions to health safety, the extra game, or even how the revenue is going to be split up. There are some things that if I was a current player, it would give me pause. And would definitely, you know, make me discuss it with my peers and seeing if this is the deal that we need to make right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the owners, you know, one of the things that I said is that why are the owners such in a rush to get this done? And I think, you know, about the TV money that potentially can be made, but the players do not, you know. But once that deal is signed, then the players are locked into their percentage of revenue without even knowing what type of TV money, what type of gambling money is going to come in within the next 10 years. And those are the things that, you know, I think J.J. Watts and a few other players have came out on the social media platform and are voicing their opinion about.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of interesting that they're going to include revenues from gambling. I mean, I thought that it was illegal for players to gamble, but it's not illegal for the NFL to allow for that and then collect the revenues and then distribute it. All in all, I guess they're going to be getting almost 48.5% of revenue. That's assuming that the preseason is cut by 1 game and only 3 preseason games, and then a 17-game regular season with an extended playoff. So I thought that was an interesting part, considering the league doesn't allow anybody to gamble, but they're able to kind of take in some revenue. So what's the deal with that?
Yeah, well, you know, they've come a long way, you know, like the old Virginia Slims commercial back in the 80s and 70s, you know, because I know the NFL went to court a few years to stop legalized gambling. Mm-hmm. So, you know, like I said, they've come a long way. And they see the revenue that can be made in it. You know, and everybody has to look at this revenue split as what it is. You know, the owners are getting 50-something%, and it's divvied up by 31 owners. But the players are getting 48 or 48.5, and it's divvied up by 1,700 players. So why not, the players get 50% or 51% and the owners take that lesser percent, because nobody comes to the game to watch owners sit in an owner's box. And I understand that, they pay the player's salary, but, the players are out there performing, putting their health and safety on the line so the owners can have these nice lifestyles and that they live. So as you can see, I'm a pro player advocate.
So to your point, they have made some progress. They've reduced the number of players that are going to be tested, and they're not going to suspend anybody who tests positive for marijuana. So I'm assuming this is a revenue play because they're still going to fine people who test positive. So what happens if there's no suspensions? Is this simply a money play? Are they just trying to find more people and generate more revenue?
Well, there's going to be no suspension, but I think there will be fines if the guy does test positive in that 2-week window, because one of the things that they did, they reduced the window that the players can be tested from 4 months to 2 weeks. And then if a guy does test positive, he won't have to go through the demeaning public humiliation of missing games. I don't know if what the fine tier is going to look like, but if you're not going to suspend the guy, then don't fine him either.
Right.
So, but I guess they have to do something. Feel like they're doing something, but don't test for it. But like I said, it is progress.
So with current players advocating for CBD like Gronkowski, do you think this is an opportunity for the NFL to take advantage of the increasing popularity of cannabinoids like CBD? Is this kind of an opportunity for them to take in more revenue from advertisers and sponsorships and otherwise?
I know it is. And we're getting a coalition of guys that have been in the space for a while that we're going to try to meet with the NFL's medical board. They had a meeting last month where they had a few select guys there, and then they're going to have another one. And the whole thing is that we just want to make sure that they're doing it educated. They're fully educated, because one of the things that came out about it is like, well, there's no research papers, and guys are doctors. Well, we have plenty of doctors and health practitioners in cannabis, and there's 22,000 research papers worldwide, and 11,000 are peer reviewed on the medicinal benefits of cannabis. So we want to bring that type of have sensible medical cannabis, CBD, hemp policy and program for their players to be able to use it versus the opiates and benzodiazepines that they're currently taking.
Oh yeah, hands down, it's a better product than the painkillers and everything else, the opioids. What's your take on it, though? What's the probability of that happening within the season?
We're going to try to make it a probability. It's greater than 50%, And I always knew that this would be the time that it would happen, even as far as back as 4 years ago. People always asked when this was going to happen, and I always said when the CBA was up. So time period, and I think it can happen that the players will be able to use at least CBD next year on a medicinal basis, and that is progress.
So is there anything else about this collective bargaining agreement, or just, cannabinoids like CBD in general, that people should know to normalize it within the industry?
No, just know that this progress is being made, and if they want to go out and, write a letter or email their local NFL owners, or even the NFL office, and give them some testimony about their personal experience with cannabis and how it has helped them, and it is medicine, and we're not Cheech and Chong or Lethal Madness, anything like that. It's medicine, and we've been medicating with this plant for over 10,000 years, and so it's time we get back to it and get off of this opiate hell highway that we're currently on.
Right. Marvin, how can people get a hold of you, either, if they have a question about the collective bargaining agreement or ICEDAL performance or otherwise? What's a good way for people to reach you?
They can just hit me up on social medias. I'm on all the platforms. use Twitter and IG, and it's the same thing, just MWash52, and you can find me. And believe me, the shareholders of some of these publicly traded companies that I'm with, they love me. So I'm pretty easy on social media to get a hold of, and I definitely answer everybody that tries to get in contact with me, and especially if they're trying to move this industry forward and even try CBD for the first time.
All right, with that, we're going to roll this one up. I want to thank my guest, Marvin Washington. He's a Super Bowl champion, defensive end with the Jets, 11 years in the NFL, and also the co-founder of Isidal Performance, which is a leading manufacturer of CBD-focused consumer products. Marvin, thanks for being back on the podcast.
Hey, Josh, thank you.
I am Josh Kincaid. This is The Talking Hedge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't, and I'm out.